everybody, and welcome. Are we echoing or something? But hello, everybody, and welcome to another segment of Let's Talk About It Tuesday. I am Dr. Suzette Robinson, along with my lovely co-host, and they will introduce themselves. Let's go.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Pamela Hill, located in Fredericksburg, Virginia. I am a board certified trichologist as well as a drugless practitioner, salon owner, educator. Welcome to tonight's call.
All right. Next.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dr. Rashawn Burtnex, and I'm here in the Washington, D.C. area. I am your local extension specialist. Anything you'd like to know, anything you want to receive in terms of hair extensions, I would be your person or your go-to person for that. Welcome to this evening's show.
All right. And those of you that's tuning in, and Margarita has joined us. She's going to be on here listening. And if she feels like interjecting, she will. But however, we are so pleased and glad we're trying something brand new. And brand new things, we all got to learn how it works. But we're glad that you're here. And right now, if you all would like to spread this, let others know we're live because we're broadcasting from three different platforms. And one is the P2P page, one is our Wigs by Suzette page, and one is Let's Talk About It page, the page we love so much. So we're going to talk from a professional standpoint, and I'm going to let Dr. Pam go ahead and start leading us in as I begin to connect us with other pages, okay?
All right. Thank you, Dr. Suzette. Welcome, guys. Excuse my scenery. I'm actually in the car right now, but we're going to keep moving on. And we're going to talk about professional and being unprofessional. And it's so many questions that I would like to ask far as being professional and unprofessional in the salon and barber world. Because we're always looking for a good team. We never expect that team to be with us forever. But, sometimes when you have a team and you decide to make changes and want to grow, people don't want to grow. So I would like to pose the question far as how do you deal? And I'm going to ask you, Dr. B, because I know you still do a little of both. You still do hair, you still do a little far as the professional, outside of the salon world as well. So how do you deal with a unprofessional employee?
Well, the first thing I think from an owner standpoint of a salon, and so everyone knows I am not a salon owner. However, I would say from the owner's standpoint, they have to let their employees know exactly what the expectation is, when they are coming into the salon. So that way the employee can first make the decision as to whether or not this will be the appropriate environment for them. So they know their behaviors. And once the salon owner says, hey, these are my expectations, they can judge and say for themselves whether or not they would fit into that environment if they ask themselves honestly. If they do become a part of the environment and then do display unprofessional behavior, it is up to the salon owner, I believe, or the manager to definitely bring those things to their attention, whatever it may be, anything that they deem that is unprofessional or does not align with what the objectives or the environment of the salon currently is or what they desire it to be.
Okay, that's good. Good.
That was real good.
That was real good. And you just what's the saying? They took the hammer and hit it on the head of the nail.
He did.
Okay, so Dr. Suzette, I'm going to pose a question to you. So when you're trying to do better and want more far as a professional and a salon owner, or any type of owner. It just really don't have to be a salon or barbershop. It can be across the board something else. And you have contracts in place. You know the rules, as Dr. B said, that, it's up to the salon owner or the manager to create this environment and give them an option of what things and how do you want it to be ran. But then if you have an employee that you hire knowing that they signed this contract and they're going to follow the rules, but then the rules change. Something's changed about them. How do you handle that?
Oh, that's good. I think the mere fact that we have a contract speaks volumes of how things should go. Um, I have had I've had people in the salon setting that as long as things were going pretty much what they wanted to be,
Mm-hmm.
they were fine. They were fine. But you do know we do have people that cannot handle change. And when change came, and it will come, a lot of times people character, that person will really come to the surface. Now, I try to handle it in more of a professional way to help them understand this is how it's going to be. They do have an option. You can stay and go along with the program, or you will have an option to leave. Now, of course, you will have those disgruntled people
Mm.
that will not leave professionally. And I think, Dr. Pam, I'm so glad you brought this up. I think that's something we need to put in our contracts as well. If this happens, this happens, because you don't expect that. So sometimes you don't put it in writing. But now that we see how things are going, I think it would help to put it in writing. But of course, I do go back to the written contract that we have with each other. If they cannot abide by the rules of the salon, I do have every right to ask them out of my facility. Okay?
Good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to pose another question to.
Before
Oh,
you do that, Dr. Pam, I just want to chime in with Dr. Suzette and say that is so good. What I call that is the escape clause.
yes.
You want to have an escape clause for yourself as well as anybody else, and it's a two-way street. Like I had a situation where someone offered me a position and they said to me, well, this is temporary. I'm going to see how this goes.
His volume went
Oh,
out.
he went out. He's doing
Yeah.
the metric on us right now.
Yeah. I think and y'all, this is another thing we deal with internet
Yes,
situation.
the internet. Sometimes I dealt with that yesterday
Yeah.
at
So,
work doing boards, and the internet is. Whew, sometimes
and,
it's good and sometimes it's bad.
but think about it, since people are now on social media so much now, I think it interferes in a lot of areas.
Hmm.
Different areas have weather issues, and so we just have to. But I'm sure B will come back.
Yeah, he come right back.
He will
So
definitely come back.
while he's in the matrix right now, we gotta wait for him to come out the matrix.
He's in the Matrix
So
today.
why do you think that, far as in the salons and in the barber shops, that is such a revolving door? They're here for 6 months, they're here for a year, they're here for a month, they're here. Why do you think, or what can be changed far as salon owners and barber shops, or just any professional business,
Anything else?
to why the turnaround is always so high, especially in salons and barbershops?
Well, Dr. Pam, I think a lot of times when people come in, depending on what that person mindset is and what they're really trying to get out of it, a lot of people want a quick fix. They want to get in, make their money, get on out of there. But a lot of times, our people don't want to. Again, it goes back to following the rules.
Right.
And sometimes they just don't want to. Hey, Dr. B.
Okay, you're out the matrix. Welcome back.
But I think, and y'all, I think talking about this, professionals, if you out there listening, this is something you want to think about. I think a lot of times we be so quick to start up businesses, and we don't put all these clauses and all
Pauses
these,
in it.
we
Yeah.
don't put things into play that this is a business. And Dr. Pam, I think a lot of times they don't realize this is a real life business and everything has to be done in a business fashion. Now, I know since I've been in the salons, I've seen people come, I've seen them go. I've seen come, some go. Some, well, I don't like the way they run this, and I don't like. You got to realize when you're coming into someone else's business, you're going to follow the rules of that business. Now,
Exactly.
if it's yours, you can set it up any way you like. Now,
Right.
that's even booth renters. Now, booth renters have rules and regulations as well.
Right.
I know they're independent people. I get it. But you cannot run another person's business. You can't. And so I would say, you said how we can change that. I would say putting good clauses, good thought into how you want to run your business,
Hmm.
putting it in writing. Because if anything happens, you need to have something say, hey, we had a binding contract, you agreed to this, thus and so, whatever the case may be. And it's okay to let some of these people go because some are bad for your overall business.
Right. And I'm so glad that you said that because a lot of times, and I encourage people to always, actually maybe get the understanding of independent contractor. And just like what you just said, you are your own business, but you're your own entity within somebody else's. Like, for
Yes.
example, the mall, you have all the kiosks in the mall, the kiosks.
Mm-hmm.
So they are independent. They're not owned by the mall, but they have to follow the mall rules. A lot of times if they mall open up at a certain time, that's in, and it's, I'm pretty sure is in their contract, but they're independent, but they still have rules and regulations that they have to
Mm-hmm.
follow for them to actually continue to sell their belongings or their items or whatever they're selling from their little kiosk. So you have to look at it that way. And a lot of times I think people get it confused to where, as you say, well, I'm a contractor. I do my own thing. I don't, but you still have to follow those rules of that salon, even though that you're independent, because a lot of times people want to be independent, but then don't want all the responsibility of being independent.
Wow. Now
Because in some
that's good.
states, right, in some states and some cities, you have to have a lot of the credentials for you to actually become an independent contractor, depending on where you live at. Some cities you have to have not only your barber or your cosmetology license, but you have to have a business license. Some cities don't require that. So it's so much. So I just, would like for people to actually research things before they get in,
Mm.
just see what's around or what the going rate is, or is it more feasible for me to be an independent contractor, or is it feasible for me to be a commission, stylist or barber? But you have to be able to understand, because a lot of times we don't read the contracts. You look at the number, what the rent is going to be, and then go on. And we have to stop that. You have to read the contract and then actually comprehend and understand what the rules and regulations is going to be. So, you can only be good for 30 days. If you act up for 60, that don't weigh out.
Don't go together, does it?
It does not go together. So I just feel if, I know it's something that can't be stopped, but I just hope that by us continue to have these conversations that, people will pick up and learn from the different things that we talk about each Tuesday. That's why I love doing these conversations. Even I'm in the car, not my setup that I would like to be, but I'm like, no, we need to get on. We need to
Yeah.
continue and talk about this. So, Dr. B, when you was in the Matrix, I asked the question, why do you feel that salons and barbershops are such a revolving door? For our stylists and barbers, and they come, they go, they come, they go, they come. They never stay still. They go from shop to 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 shop. And it's just like, at what point do you actually realize that you might be the common denominator on why you shop hopping? So that was the question I posed when you went into the matrix. So I would like for you to have your input on it.
Sure. I think part of the reason is, and I'm speaking in very general terms, most stylists, barbers, artists are by nature creative people, right? Creative people don't always seek out the I don't want to say, let's just say the business aspects of things, right? Because we're creative, so we're not worried about the administrative portion, and that's why in a lot of businesses you have a creative person, and then you will have someone who handles the administrative portion of the business. So they're going to make sure your licenses are all kept current. They're going to make sure your people pay their rent. They're going to make sure your contracts are all in place while you do what you do best, which is to be the creative person. So being a creative person, sometimes lacking that other side, when you come into somebody else's business, your mind isn't about, oh, I have to keep in mind how they run their business. Your mind is focused on, I'm here to do hair. And with that, you just don't put, people don't put that, part of the business operation in front of them, and which is why they end up going from place to place, because they aren't considerate or cognizant of how the business needs to run. I know some people that are currently dealing with it, where their issues come in paying rent. They don't, not that they don't understand, but they don't put forth effort to make sure that the rent is paid. All they're worried about is, I want to make the money, but I'm want to do the creative aspect of my job. I'll pay it. Oh, but if I forget, it's okay. That's not okay for the salon owner who has to pay bills, right? So eventually that type of person is going to be asked to leave the salon because they cannot keep up with the administrative or business aspect of running their business. And so they'll go to another salon. And when they go to the next salon, they'll say, oh, I paid my rent late once or twice and she put me out, or he put me out. And then the next salon owner will see the same thing. They can't keep up with these aspects. So I think people have to understand both sides of business. And especially when you come into somebody else's business, be cognizant of how their business needs to run. You want your clients to pay you on time. You want to pay your business owner on time. You want to keep everything going forward and keep everything on the same level.
Right.
That's good.
That's so true. That's so true.
That was good.
Yeah, that was
well put together. Yeah.
And I think as even salon owners, independent contractors, commission, across the board, I think a lot of times that we do forget about the HR part of it, the human resources part of it. And like you said, dealing with all the background as far as the paperwork and so forth, whatever. I think the mindset is more, oh, I'm a barber, I'm a hairstylist. I'm coming in to do hair. Not worrying about anything else, and not understanding that you still have to have the insurance. You got light bill, your water bill, your licenses. You have so many different things, even if you had payroll or even with the rent, keeping up with the receipts, giving receipts. There's so much behind, like you said, as far as the paperwork. And I think a lot of times they just, forget about that part. It's like, oh, like you just say, I pay my rent and I'm good. And still they need to be able to keep records themselves, far as when it comes to taxes. That's one of the reasons why, the states wanted to deregulate, because they feel that we get away, with taxes and so forth, whatever. We're not writing everything off. We don't keep good books and so forth, whatever. And all that plays a part of being an independent contractor, even a commission worker, because even with some commission workers, they might 1099 them. You know what I'm saying? So you getting into that lane and just actually comprehending what everything means. So at the end of the year, you won't have to worry about Uncle
Right.
Sam.
Mhm.
you know, so I feel with us continue to do these topics is very helpful, and I
Mm-hmm.
love that we do them. And I just wanted to give a few um, key keynotes or points that before we close out that we can use like when we have these issues. A lot of times we have to put aside our negative feelings. You know,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we might be emotional, might not be in the mood, and you just took us over the hill. You was the icing on the cake. So sometimes we have to put that to the side. We never should assume bad intent. um, Try to address things early. Try to find out the history, because a lot of times when you go into the salons, people don't do applications anymore. I remember
No.
when I first got out of school, I had my portfolio, I had everything, and I think a lot of times people getting away from that. I even had to bring in a model, to do a model before I was actually able to work in the salon. So I think a lot of times we get away from the hiring process and actually being detailed. Um, when it comes to that, just us being more in tune and asking questions as far as their business efforts. I think is one good thing. Um, and just keep an eye on their progress. You know, I,
Mm-hmm.
everybody should be on a probation period, just like anything else. You always had to work somewhere 60, 90 days before you was able to get any type of insurance or before you can be hired permanently. And I just feel if we create our salons and barbershops the same way, I think that would help. And that's just my opinion. I feel that might help far as weeding out having a revolving door so much, because again, like you said, Dr. B, we are artists, we creative, and sometimes we get bored at a certain level, we want more, or just want a different atmosphere, or don't want more, and that salon owner might want to change and you ain't trying to take that ride. So it,
Mhm.
it can go both ways. So I just feel if we use those key points on a regular basis, I think we can cut down some and then help more people be more business savvy.
Mm. You know what? You said something though. Here and I'm thinking, what do you do when you have those people that are in your salon that has a big influence on the people that work there? And they pretty much dictate to your other people how they think your salon is supposed to run.
I've had that too.
Question.
And I know they could be like, we can sit back and think. When I first started, I like what Pam said. I'm old school. And so when I first started, they had rules before I got there.
Mhm.
Okay.
hmm
And this guy had 17 operators and
hmm
they did celebrities. They was doing I had no one, no one. So I started out, like assisting. If
Right,
anybody needed my help, I was there. I just needed to get that. I needed to get that full understanding of how to operate in a salon.
right.
Okay.
hmm
But I was also told you be careful who you connect with
Mhm.
because they can also teach you bad habits. And
Right,
true enough, there was one particular person, no naming names, who just had a big influence over the salon. And they were acting as if it belonged to them. Okay. So I watched the person that brought me into their salon to work. He was my instructor. And I watched him and I watched how he handled them. He didn't have a confrontation with them. He didn't go up to him, but he pulled them to the side and said, "Look, this is how this is going to happen. I see what you're doing. Now, your work is good, and this another thing. It don't matter if they do great hair. or they can bring in a thump of people. If they're causing chaos in your business, you got to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the truth. You can give people, this man gave this person so many chances till I was tired, but I ain't on it. So, but I was like, he said, but Suzette, I want you to pay attention to me. He said, they think they're winning, but no, no, no. He politely, it was on a Saturday, one of the busiest days that we had in the salon. And they had so many people. He didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know, when you pay your booth rent, it's one price.
Exactly.
So it don't matter if you got 10 and 15 people, you're gonna give me this and it's all on, and that's fine.
Right. And that's the first thing people say, I pay.
Well, I
And
pay
not
you don't
understanding.
keep everything on in the baby, you pay booth rent. It only take care of a portion of that business. So he told me, he says, today's gonna be different. I remember like yesterday, he said, today's gonna be different. I don't want you to go on that side of the building because something's going to change. And I'm thinking, okay. So he said he knew that this person was gonna cut up. So he politely went around and he told me, this is your last day. As a matter of fact, this is your last hour. No, you're ready to go now. Because she was jaw jack. He said, we're not gonna do that today. He never just acted. I know he wanted to because I probably would have, but and he had someone there to help escort her out. He knew the day that was gonna be the day. And it's amazing how people want to show their behind, so to speak, when they got an audience.
Mm.
But
Oh,
you cannot cut up in someone else's establishment. It's not yours. But I think if we start out from the beginning, you all letting them know, hey, this is a business. You're going to sign this contract. This is what, and we hold up our end of the bargain as the owners. Okay. So you know how we let one thing slide
mm-hmm.
and then we let another thing
Another thing
slide.
side, and then
Y'all know three
this side.
strikes you have.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we let 15 things slide. I'm exaggerating the number, but I'm just saying there comes a time when you have to say, mm-mm. Because others need to see if this is how I'm running my business. And if you think that this is how you're going to behave, you can follow right behind. People need to know they think you need them.
Mm-hmm.
They think that you need them. And some do need you. You just got to discern who needs you and who just there to be a problem. But I say get rid of the problem before it be a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you're listening, please get things in writing. Don't just open no business, just say you got a business and you
Right.
don't have nothing together. People can just do you in legally, they'll come in and just dog you out. You got to business got to be business. I mean, whether you in a barbershop, a salon, a daycare, any little thing, you need to have paperwork in place. I agree with Pam. Um, I see one of the writers wrote, it's okay to say no. And you are right. And check this out, Dr. Pam and Dr. Broadnax and Marguerite. I think about it. I'm thinking more about it now. You got to make sure they're a good fit for your business.
Right.
Yeah, because if they come in and they already kind of giving you a little slight inkling that they're going to be a problem, I'm just going to go on to you. If it smells like a rat, it's a rat. You can't make it be nothing else. And so look for the sign. I like what you said too, Dr. Pam. Probation period. People
Mm-hmm.
don't stop doing it. Y'all do it. It's a business. Dr. B, am I right about it?
You're absolutely right. I'll tell you one thing that someone I used to work with, their motto in terms of opening a business is if you open a business, specifically a salon or barbershop, you must be able to take care and carry that business alone. Okay? Because
Okay.
he said you will always get exactly what you said. You will get the person who will come in and try to run your business. You
Mhm.
have the person who will always have the biggest influence over the masses of your business, right? And
Mhm.
so those will be the people who try to keep your business hostage. The person who believes that they're running a business, they will try to set the tone, set the environment. The person who has the biggest influence over the mass of the people will be the person who keeps your business hostage because they will have you believing that you need everybody in there. But if you go
Mm.
into your business being able to run, operate, and carry your business alone, you never have to be afraid or be subject to those type of people because you can do what this person did. One day went in and said, this salon is not working as it's running. This Friday will be the last day. The salon will close. And we went in and we shut the salon down. And never before had I thought that that could happen. Never before had I seen it, heard of it, experienced it. But
Mm-hmm.
it was to set the precedent and to let the people know, yes, I need you here because you're helping to pay these bills, but I will not be subject to you holding my business hostage. I will rather close it and deal with the financial fallout and reopen, successfully or the way I need it to run rather than have you continue to run it into the ground or operate it in the unprofessional manner that you're operating.
Wow,
So
that's good.
the bottom line, you have to be able to carry a business alone.
That's
And it's
good.
a tough thing to do because how
Mm-hmm.
many of us can say that yes, I can, like in DC, our average rent for a salon and a decent space is at least $5,000 a month. So how many of us can say I have $5,000 to put into just my business alone, right? Never
Mm-hmm.
mind what the utilities are going to be. Never mind what the product is going to be. Never mind what my car note, my mortgage, all these other bills that come from me working in the salon, right? I need
Right.
$5,000 just to operate my business. A lot of us can't do that, but you have to, those are the breaks of owning a business. You have to be able to take care of it because there may come the day when all of your people who you believe are for you will decide they want to leave. And what you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
What you gonna
B,
do?
that was good. I mean, you know what though? That's food for thought because sometimes when we're starting businesses and especially a partnership,
Mm-hmm. Oh.
partnerships are tricky.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make just because, and then uh, just think about it. People that want to start with you in your business, they may have the money and you
Mm-hmm.
may have the know-how. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My thing about that, though, B, is that you have to make sure you are absolutely right that if anything should happen, you're able to continue,
Mm-hmm.
whether they show up or not. I've just, this is a good example. I've just opened the private practice that I've been waiting on for a long time.
Yes, I
I've got
saw.
to be, hey,
Congratulations.
Dr. Pam, I got to be super careful
Mm-hmm.
of making sure that everything in that office run effectively. And Dr. B, when I did this time, I made sure I could maintain it.
Mm-hmm.
So if I never got anybody to come in there, I could maintain it because being an owner, you know how you want it to run. It does
Absolutely.
not matter what people ideas are, how they feel about stuff. You just know what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes you do, Dr. B, have to do it by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I say, get yourself established before you try to bring anybody else in.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Because I messed up. And I'm gonna tell you, I can tell you, honey, I can write a book on doing things A backwards. You can put whatever you want to in the A, but A backwards. So when I've learned from it, and I like this discussion that we're having because I know somebody on here is contemplating and thinking about starting a business. You better get your paperwork, get your stuff in order, start your business. if you have to start it by yourself, know that you're going to have the
Mhm.
money to keep it going.
Yep.
Hmm. You're going to have all your legal things in place because anything can happen. I'm looking at people and I listen to them. Well, I've already started. I already started and I got me a spot and I yada yada yada. And they don't have no license. They
Hmm.
don't have no insurance. They don't have no reassurance. They don't have nothing
Hmm.
but a place that may be gone, like Dr. B said. If something happened, me and my husband rode down the road just the other day. There's businesses, a whole strip mall.
Hmm.
Something happened in the building, and they shut everybody's business down.
Hmm.
Do you hear me? So now they can't go to work.
Right.
So what are they going to do? Some at the house cutting hair, some in their kitchen frying hair. Whatever they got to do, they doing that. I get it. But what if you set yourself up and get a place? You in a place. I'm gonna use Pam's place for example. I got a chance to come to her salon. Her salon is so nice, so well put together. Okay. So I know she cannot afford to let you come in and destroy her place because it represents her
Hmm.
from the front door to the back door. And you know what? People that don't have no ties other than they ain't got no dog in the hunt. They don't mind tearing your place up. And so everything that we're learning now and everything that we're sharing to this audience is to help you because starting a business, it takes strategic thinking. I wouldn't say just start it. Even if you go to a salon, people tend to want to go where they can be free and do what they want to. I get it.
Mhm.
But the only way you can be free and do what you really want to do, you got to have your own spot. Because when you're coming into somebody else's establishment, it's not for you to come in and change it.
Right.
Okay? It's not. So if you bring your bad habits up in there and I see it within a week's time, I already know we ain't going to dance long. Mm-mm.
Hmm.
Right.
So, Pam, I love it. Let's go back to the probation period.
Yes, we need to, and it's fine. And I think a lot of people get emotions involved and feel that they need to stay with you forever. And I always tell
Yeah,
anybody
they
that
do.
come in, like, I don't expect you to be here forever, but I would want you to know everything that I've did wrong, so you won't make the same mistakes and get pushed back to the beginning again.
Okay.
I want you to know everything possible, what you need to start up and to continue to keep it running.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot. When I got out here, I had to learn trial and error. Nobody taught me anything far as I needed this, get this, and I needed this much insurance for this and make
Mm,
this contract. I didn't have all of that. I had to learn trial and error to where now, even with things that I didn't went through, I have to go back and revamp my contracts.
that's it.
Because every time you have an experience, you're like, okay, you know what? I should have had that in the contract.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
think of everything because it could be a whole world spectrum of what
Hmm.
somebody you might think. You try to think of everything that you've experienced or you've been in a salon and they have experienced to try to make sure when you got yours, you want to dot your I's and cross your T's. But a lot of times you got those X's and those Z's and those S's need to come up out the wood. Like, okay, wait a minute, I didn't think about that. So got to revamp at least every 6 months, I would say, to revamp
I
your
like that.
contract.
I like that.
And it's just so many different things. But I always advise you, if you don't like rules and regulations, the best thing is for you to get your own. And
Yeah.
then they can understand and see on what is needed to run a business. Because even with a suite, a lot of people run into the suites. And it's just like, okay, you still got things that you have to do to
Yeah.
maintain that. And guess what? There's still rules and regulations of that because a lot of them you can't be in there all hours of the night.
Hmm.
So no matter where you go or what you do in life, it's going to be a policy and procedure, rules and regulations.
And it
that's just,
is.
that's just the way it is. I don't care if you at McDonald's.
You got rules and regulations that you got to follow before you clock in. There's the way you got to flip that burger and drop those fries. There's rules and regulations that you have to follow.
I was about to say that burger got to come first, then the pickles,
Yes.
then the
Did
coffee.
it's a system. It's a system, and you have to follow that system. So if we really work more on stop trying to bring each other down or feel that we trying to hold each other back and just work together and kind of understand the mindset of where that person is trying to go and where that person want to be. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. Then it's just time to move on.
You're
It shouldn't
right.
be hard feelings. It's time to just to move on. So but
This
I
was good.
enjoyed
This
this.
is good. And you know
So
what? This is good, Pam, y'all, because I think it's going to help me too. Sometimes talking about it, even being an owner now, it just helped me to go back and revamp, make sure I got all my paperwork in order,
right.
you know. And we just here to help get information out to you all. Um, I noticed some are really appreciating these segments. I think next week we're going to be talking about the difference between listening versus opinion. And these topics come up according to what people ask us, and we try to set a setting so we can talk about it. Because remember, this is called Let's Talk About It Tuesday. And without you tuning in, asking questions, of course, we can think of several things to talk about, but we want to talk about the things that interest you, that you want answers for. And I think Pam coming to the platform today with this information it has really shaken me a little bit to make sure my stuff, even though I'm a private practice, and there is nobody but me in it at this time, but it's of my choosing because I've had people to work with me. Um, I'm not ready for that yet.
It's a lot.
I'm just not ready for it because I have a privacy clause. I have clients that really trust me, and I cannot afford to mess that up. And it just means a lot to me to be able to service them in a way that they can feel comfortable. When they come in, they feel comfortable. They ain't got to worry about nobody saying what is on her head. We don't have those issues. Nobody but me and the client. And I do not take walk-ins. You have to have an appointment. So when you're in your own establishment, you set ground rules. Okay. You set ground rules. My time is up. Pam, this was awesome. I'm sure we're gonna revisit it again, but I'm gonna say to the audience, if you're that person and you're looking to find out what paperwork you need to get your business rolling and going and all that stuff, certainly you can contact us. We do training for that. We now do training for microlinks professionally. Microlinks.
Yes.
I've had people come sit in my chair and I try to take the mic. I'm like, what in the world? What is this? But so we offer classes. We offer business classes, how to get your business credit. So we do an array of many things, okay, professionally. So we want to take time to thank you for tuning in. We're going to ask that you meet us again on next Tuesday. And certainly we would love to see your hearts and all your love that you share with us and your questions. I wanted to give a shout out to the what am
Sponsors.
I giving sponsors? Y'all know y'all have 10 sponsors. Isabella Graphics. We also have
Platinum
Pretty
Beauty
Gloves
Supply.
Princeton, Platinum Beauty Supply, Kingdom Dominion Worship Ministries, and last but never least, I often said Dr. Donnie, Pastor Donnie Robinson, who again is putting all our information. We're coming from 3 platforms. Next week we'll probably be doing 4. We're gonna add. I think we're gonna do about 8 of them. We got different ones that we're reaching out to because God has blessed us to be able to do that, and so we're grateful for that. Please tune in again on next Tuesday with another segment of Let's Talk About It Tuesday. Dr. B, take us home.
All right. Like Dr. Suzette said, we thank you, each and every person who joined us on this evening. We ask that you do share this with others and invite them to join us each and every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central Time. And on that note, I, Dr. Hill, Dr. Robinson, and as well as Marguerite, she had to duck out a little early, but we all, and, Shanae, and Carmelita. Exactly. We all want to wish you a very gracious evening and hope to see you on next Tuesday. And we'll say good night.
Good night, everybody.
Live.
Live.